Welcome back. All right, so this is the news of the day for all you fine people, starting with Columbus, what the Blue Jackets just did. Patrik Laine has signed a 4-year extension with the Columbus Blue Jackets worth a total of $34.8 million or $8.7 million per season. The AAV is high. The value is high. Now, for Laine, he had a good year following what was an off year by his standards. For Laine, it's really been a matter of consistency, and I've done videos on this throughout his career. If he can ever find that consistent goal-scoring touch, he should be a 50-goal scorer in the National Hockey League, and I don't think there's really any debate with that. This year, in 56 games, he had 26 goals, 30 assists, 56 points. So a 4-year deal, I think, is perfect. Talked about it before. I think 4 years is a really nice term for a contract. And so for Laine, 4 more years in Columbus. They just got Gaudreau for 7, which means for the next 4, you should have both of them, barring injury. And then it's a matter of, if you want to try putting them on the same line, who do you put in the middle? But that's a fun little experiment they could try. Maybe Kent Johnson. Who knows, right? At camp. So for Columbus, that's somebody who's off the board. They don't have to worry about it. And for Laine, he gets himself a nice chunk of change there too, right? Ryan Ellis, word is out that he may not be ready for camp. So, of course, he only played a few games last year for Philly. Made a huge difference to their blue line. Of course, they picked him up for Nashville. They had a lot of big plans there, and it just didn't work out. So, for Ellis, he may not be ready for camp. Then, of course, the question would be, so what about the regular season? Pelvic injuries can be tough to come back from. So, hopefully, Ellis is 100% when he comes back, and hopefully that's as soon as possible. I really like Ryan Ellis, the player. I really think that he could make a huge difference for Philly, and so hopefully he's good to go to start this season. Andy Strickland stirring things up on Twitter today, reporting that he's hearing that Dallas is basically in the mix for some big names, including Matthew Tkachuk. I don't know how you'd make the math work. So they have Jason Robertson and Jake Ottinger currently are RFAs, right? So they have to sign those 2 players. I would think that if Matthew Tkachuk was going to Dallas, the first player Calgary would ask for would be Robertson, right? Or maybe Rope Hintz. And I think for me, as a Dallas fan, I would be really not looking forward to losing Jason Robertson if that was the deal. Dallas and Calgary have made big name trades before. Joe Nieuwendyk going one way, and then again going the other. That was quite a while ago, though. But still, this would be a big name trade if that took place. But he's reporting it that they're in on other players too. So we shall see if there's any smoke to that. For Dallas, it makes some sense that they'd be in on some big names. Hey, they made the playoffs. They made a change behind the bench. They want to make a splash this year. They want to have Dallas relevant locally, right? And just around the National Hockey League in general. And then an article published on Sportsnet today talking about JT Miller. This whole thing is really honestly overblown in general. And I've talked about it on the channel. I'm just going to throw this out there again. There's absolutely zero pressure on either the team or the player right now. The biggest thing to me, so the biggest tell to me is simple. When a player is ready to have a divorce from a team, we find out from the player or we find out from the agent, right? In the case of Matthew Tkachuk, for instance, it was the player saying, I'm not signing a long-term contract here. And so immediately that starts the procedure so he's going to get traded. In the case of Miller, the team loves the player, and the player seems to love the team as well. JT Miller, like the agent himself, Brian Bartlett, saying JT likes Vancouver, and ending that quote with, there's no particular urgency from our end, meaning they're fine. He likes the coaching staff, he likes management, he likes his teammates. He's perfectly fine with coming back and playing again. And he basically said that they also understand that the Canucks will have some salary cap issues going forward, and that's what's holding up some of these negotiations, which makes me happy as a Canucks fan. It's nice to have management looking at the future rather than just throwing money at a guy and going, yep, nope, come on, we'll get this done later. We'll figure out how to make it all work under the cap later. I do like foresight. That's important. So while there's a lot of discussion, where's he going to go? Who's going to get him? What's going to happen? There's no pressure point now until the trade deadline. The only way that changes is if he gets off to a really slow start. The Canucks get off to a slow start, and then he decides, I'd like to be traded. But again, there's no reason to necessarily think that's going to happen. He understands he's had his best years in his career in Vancouver, and the Canucks understand that he's been a perfect fit for Vancouver and has been arguably their best forward over the last couple of years. So I don't see any reason to assume that there's going to be a deal anytime soon, but I understand media is going to keep talking about it. His face is going to be on everything. It will not be on this video because, of course, for the thumbnail, it's got to be Laine. But again, I'm ready to shelve the discussion until there's a trade. So this is officially the last time that I will discuss anything until there's a trade or there's a signing of JT Miller. I will retire the topic from here and go ahead and throw dirt on it. We can pay it final rights and be done with it. And then in the event that he does get traded or get signed, then I can, dig it up and Jason Voorhees it like in part 6 and bring it back to life and the zombie lives. All right, there you go. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, tell me what you think of that cap hit for Laine. Worth the risk? Is there any risk at all? Or do you think it's an overpayment? Let me know your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.